What's up, everybody? This is the Brit T here to talk to you about all the tips from fashion, financial well-being, spiritual well-being, and so on. Can't be the master of everything without being the master of something, right? So here we are. Today, we're speaking about my experience as a gig worker. And before we really dive in, I'd like to thank everybody who is taking the time to view this video. Namely, the people who may or may not have subscribed to me. I invite you to hit that subscribe button and that like button if this content resonates with whatever it is you're looking for in your life right now, presently. So, thank you so much for stopping by today. I'm here to talk to you so far about my experience as a gig worker. You have to pardon me because I'm sitting in my car. I'm getting ready to actually hit my next gig, but I figured today was going to be the best time to talk about this. So, as we know, it's hard making a living just off of one income. We don't need to talk about it. We don't need to lie about it in greater detail. But as an individual who's had a long list of jobs, who hasn't had like a stable income in quite some time, it can be said that just having one job is just not ideal anymore. It's actually becoming more common for the typical American to have one or more side hustles on top of their daily job. Perhaps you're sitting here watching this video and you're unemployed, or you're low on money, you're working a dead-end job, you're sitting here waiting aimlessly for your paycheck. You know, that may take a week or 2 weeks, or you may even get paid monthly. Some people do that. I was one of those guys when I worked for the state, of Wyoming. I was one of those workers when I worked in Oklahoma. So, namely, that has caused like a schism for a lot of us Americans, right? And just people in general, even overseas. Like, it's hard to make a living. You can't wait on your money. I'm a firm believer no one should have to wait a week or 2 weeks or a month and, for their money, and they got bills to pay, right? Like, that's insane to me. I, growing up, had always been taught that, when you work, you eat. That had always been the conditioning I was given, right? And here it is, we see wealthy people all the time, with their boats and their cars and everything, and envy. And we're all here just trying to make an honest living, trying to, just make a day come forth where, we have the food on our table that we want to buy and prepare for ourselves, or we want to make sure we keep our water on, or electricity, right? And here it is, it's getting harder and harder to do that, especially with inflation here in the US. But again, these are not details that I want to talk about, because we will probably get very political quick, so we don't want to do that here. We want to come up with solutions on how we can make more money without killing ourselves and taking back our freedom. So, I started gig working about 2 months ago. I've been, on the whole, working jobs my whole life. I've done everything. Like, I was working labor positions, picking and pulling and packing, all the way to janitorial, all the way to clerical. I mean, I've done it all. So, it was always some type of schism or conflict that I had when I was working these jobs. And it was drama, or a shit boss, pardon my language, but that's what it was. It was always something that relatively wasn't putting me in a place of positivity, a toxic work environment, criticism that was unfair criticism because I didn't work the way that other people wanted me to work, even though I worked efficiently. It's just spreadsheet management. And again, you might be that individual working for an employer that doesn't give a shit about you. They just want you to come to work and be compliant and do your job. And you have idiots that, I'm real, guys, so you're gonna have to deal with it. No disrespect. But you have morons that are in management that don't value you as an individual, so they get that title and they walk around like mini Napoleon and they make your life a living hell on the job. You don't need that. So, with what point I'm getting at is, if you are looking for a new way to maximize your income, or you're just looking for some extra money to make on the side and you are tired of waiting on your paycheck, there are 3 apps amongst other apps that I have been using that has helped me with at least getting some walking around money to do the things I like, and or finding ways to get out of the typical 9-to-5 employment, at least in reason. So here today we're going to talk about 3 of them. I probably, depending on how I'm feeling by this video, again, may give you 2 extra bonuses. You know, the links will be in the description if you're interested. And I invite you all to sign up today. Check your areas, see if there's any work. If not, you know, don't be afraid to just do your own research and see what works for you best. But I know these are legit apps that have worked. They're not doing surveys and crap, you know, and then you're having to do 5,000 of them and you may not even get but maybe $20 to $30. So get into the first tool that I use typically. The first one and the main one I've been using here lately, the name of the app is called Shift Smart. This app namely gives you some of the employers, maybe even stores or whatever it is that may be contracted through this. You serve as a middleman, but you're an independent contractor. And there are tasks and shifts that you can do. The ones I'm doing is no more than 4 hours, and you can choose as many as you want. Now, the good thing about this app is you get paid daily. So after you're done with the shift and you've confirmed your clock in and clock out code, sometimes you may not be able to do that, but when you have the clock out code, you still can be able to get paid for the time. There are ways in case the manager's not on duty, at least from my experience so far, you can still clock in. You may have to go to help the shift, but, you know, for the shift, excuse me. But typically, there's still ways you can work it. And again, it's daily pay. Sometimes there are bonuses, as a matter of fact, on top of these shifts. So say, for instance, you get paid for 4 hours, you know, $60 or $40. Depending on what shift it is and what hour it is, and if you've done some consecutively, you might get anywhere from $10 to $25 to $40 so far. It just depends on the contractor. So that was the cool part about when I started doing this. And so that's actually where I'm at right now. That's why I'm doing this quick little video. But, excuse me, it's actually pretty dope. So I invite you to sign up for that, and it's daily pay. Typically, it'll take about 24 to 36 hours for the money to hit, you know, internally your account. It can be sent to your debit card and or your bank. So that's the wonderful thing about that. The second tool is Observa. This tool operates in a very similar capacity. However, it is possible that you may get paid once a week after you do these tasks, but it's very flexible. It's the equivalent of doing secret shopper work as well as just light merchandising work. Each task takes no more than 10 to 15 minutes. It can vary though, depending on who's aware of this app. So it's pretty cool. All you're doing is taking pictures of merchandise in certain retail stores, doing a quick audit, and that's pretty much the work. Now, the only thing about this app, it pays via PayPal, and some of the tasks, so far they've ranged only $7 to $8. That being said, depending on how many you want to do, it, again, 10 to 15 minutes to do something that's going to give you $7, that's not bad. However, I will tell you, just like anyone else, you know, that $7 to $8 will add up if you do a lot. And again, you do 4 of them in 1 hour, that's $28 you just made just taking pictures and auditing a store. It may feel like it's a lot, but it's not. You're just taking pictures, making sure certain merch is where it should be. Sometimes you're moving a little bit around, and each one typically is stupid easy. Now, assuming that you decide to do a whole lot, it can go really quick. So just ensure that you take good pictures, you're very detailed, and again, you can make stupid amounts of money with this. I actually did 10 of the tasks, which took me only like 2 hours, and I made an extra $80. So easy money there. You're just auditing stuff. You're taking a few pictures. It should take you no longer than 10 to 15 minutes, literally. You submit it and they honestly approve it. It's real fast. And if they don't, contact support. They'll take care of you. But it's like once a month. I believe it can be daily. Don't quote me on that. Just do your homework. From my experience so far, I've only gotten paid weekly, but there have been some instances where they do pay daily. So that's another one that I would recommend you look into. And the good thing about it is you can take your kids with you if you want to. Now, except for the liquor store ones, you can't do that one. You can't bring them in there. But depending on whichever tasks show up, in case you have kids or whatever, you can just bring them with you as you're doing it. So, it is what it is. And again, it doesn't take very long. The third one is actually one of my favorite ones. Granted, you got to be very competitive, and it is a very competitive app. Typically, I would say that it is one of the best ones out there, and it's pretty consistent in work. And this one is actually called Instawork. Now, I believe typically this one, you just put in your hat in the ring. And I actually got this one crossed up with the bonus one I was going to give you, so I guess I lied. But this one, you do not have to put in a bid. You just look, cycle a lot of work, and watch for new opportunities to come up. You can actually choose which skill sets you have, and it'll show you how many shifts that they've added to the app pretty consistently. You do need to make sure you have the right attire if you decide to be a bus or anything else like that. But I would recommend just going on there and applying. It's free to sign up. You just got to pass your assessments, make sure that you're observant. It does require a background check, but if you're a felon, it's fine. It just depends on what kind of felon you are. If you're a nonviolent one and your stuff's been, several years gone, you should be okay. But if you're something more recent, I don't know. Just check and see what happens. The same with Shift Smart. They do background checks. I should have disclosed that, but just give it a shot. Worst case scenario, they just don't let you do it. But if it's been some years, you should be just fine. Observa doesn't do a background check. They just, you just go in and do tasks and sign up for free. There's that. Now, the one that's the bids one, which was the one I was actually meaning to, we'll just give you the bonus one that I remember. I know I told you 3, but I'm feeling generous. This one is going to be variable. And it's very able, not variable as in, the scientific word, but, the scientific meaning. But it's an app where you actually put in bids. Now, they're more manual labor jobs, manufacturing, things like that. There's different vendors who actually operate through this app, and it's daily pay. You get paid as soon as you're done with the task. The good thing about it is you get a pay card directly through Variable. They mail it to your home, and all you do is bid on the job. Be aware that this can be a very competitive app, but you don't see who it is. You just put your bid in for every single one you want to do. There have been tasks that have paid anywhere from $70 to $350 for just one job for one day, depending on the task and depending on the employer. So, again, I will put that one in the description as well. It's been pretty good to me so far. But again, it's competitive. You got to get it early. And again, it's anything from picking and packing to manufacture work to whatever it is that you can find on there. I would check your area first whenever you sign up. It's also going to require a background check. But again, if it's been some time or if you're just, a good egg or whatever the case may be, just put your hat in the ring. You never know what you can find. So far, that's about it for that one. Other tools that I may find along the way, I will definitely tell you right now they're worthwhile. If I find any other ones that are worthwhile, I'd be happy to share them with you guys. So that's it for right now, guys. I know I've agged on about these tools so far. If you're interested in getting any more tips, details, or suggestions about financial literacy, ways to make extra money, hit me up. Of course, thank you all so much for watching this. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment if you like about the content I've made today, and if you're interested in more content like this. Until then, this is the Brit T. Mwah. Hopefully this helps you out. Take care of yourselves.